All right, good afternoon and a happy Tuesday. We are bringing you the latest information on Tropical Storm Bertha as of the advisory that came in about 3 minutes ago at 1 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center. The biggest changes from this morning are that now we have a little bit more speed on the system, moving around 5 miles an hour instead of the 3 miles an hour it's been essentially stationary with over the last couple of days. So the storm is still located about 125 miles southeast of Mobile, not too far away from Panama City, but we finally started to see it jog a little bit further west, and it will continue to weaken in intensity as it moves towards southeast Louisiana. You'll notice right now the winds are 60 miles an hour, which keeps it at a tropical storm status. We're seeing gusts towards 70 miles an hour, but most of the energy is on the eastern side of the system, and it's not super well defined. We don't really have a western side of the system, which is good news, especially because this is about to move into a more hostile environment for intensification. So we're not anticipating a rapid intensification as we get into the next 24 hours. You'll note that by tomorrow morning, these winds are likely down to 50 miles an hour, and then we continue to see the winds a little bit lesser with each timestamp here on the track. So as we get into Wednesday at 7 a.m., you can anticipate the onset of these wind gusts in the 30-mile-per-hour range locally. That'll be the #1 thing that people notice when they step outside. As for rain chances, we're really not going to see a total washout from this system. And you'll notice along the Florida Panhandle, a couple tropical storm bands are moving inland, but you're not seeing any flood concerns or advisories because most of these showers are moving, which is a good thing, and they're quick in passing. Otherwise, the bulk of the rain that's just sitting over the water is well south, so it's not going to be a problem for areas further inland. Here's the radar picture at the moment. We don't even really see a whole lot of rain near Panama City, which is where the center is closest. So that just goes to show you that you can't focus on the center with this system because it's just not well defined enough. Here's our water vapor imagery very clearly highlighting Tropical Storm Bertha, but you'll notice there's a lot more dry air closer to Louisiana and our coastline. So for that reason, when the storm continues moving into the warmer water, it's going to get ripped apart by the drier air in the upper levels. Here's what you can expect 24 hours from now, around 1 p.m. tomorrow. We're still going to see the center of the system offshore, so it won't have quote-unquote made a landfall just yet, but you're going to have the bulk of that heaviest rain well to our south over the Gulf, where it could dump somewhere between 10 and 15 inches of rain. Inland, we're going to struggle to see 1 to 2 inches, especially on the North Shore, even South Shore locations. More than likely not dealing with any localized street flood concerns. Now, of course, we'll be prepared for that. I'm sure there will be neutral ground restrictions on parking lifted, but altogether, it doesn't look like rain chances are going to be our primary issue. Now, tomorrow night around 7 o'clock, when the storm is making a quote-unquote landfall, areas along the coast are going to be dealing with the bulk of the rain that could end up totaling anywhere from 3 to 5 inches in a few spots just south of Houma and to its west. So think closer to the southernmost tip of the boot, Pilot Town up through Boothville, over towards Port Fourchon, Grand Isle, these types of areas through Terrebonne. Otherwise, again, in the metro, not going to see a whole lot of rain. Same thing on the North Shore. Really, the primary issue is going to be surge and the winds that are contributing to it for any coastal flooding potential as we head into Wednesday and early Thursday morning. So again, your wind gusts are going to start picking up a little bit more as we get into tonight. Here's Tuesday at 9 p.m. We've got some spots dealing with 20-mile-per-hour winds along the coast. Otherwise, those 10 to 15-mile-per-hour gusts a little further inland. And then we'll continue with 25 to 30-mile-per-hour gusts as we move into Wednesday. Doesn't look like most spots see much worse than 35-mile-per-hour gusts, even when the center is moving to the west. So some good news there. We're just going to be watching for areas that are usually subject to some heightened surge outside of the levee protection system. So here's the storm surge advisory information in terms of coastal flooding concerns. We saw a storm surge watch earlier. The National Hurricane Center, however, took it away in order to implement the coastal flood warning conditions from Slidell spanning east beyond Biloxi and then down towards Buras and the southernmost tip of the boot. We're also seeing this coastal flood advisory lining Lake Pontchartrain and Lake Maurepas and then through parts of Terrebonne and Lafourche. So inland, you can expect 1 to 3 feet of surge. That's going to be the height of concern there. Along the coastline, more like 2 to 4 feet of surge. Of course, we do have some tropical storm warnings flying, spanning Biloxi all the way down to Port Fourchon, and that's because conditions that are tropical storm-like will be expected within the next 24 hours. Tropical storm watch conditions, including the metro all the way over to Laplace, down through Thibodaux and Houma, in effect as well. So the potential storm surge is primarily going to be a concern here near Lake Borgne. We'll zoom in a little bit closer and remind you all the areas that you see here in white are part of the levee protection system. And we're going to have some floodgates closing as we look to this afternoon in St. Bernard Parish. So that 3-foot storm surge surrounding Lake Borgne is where the water will be better able to pile up. Again, should not be a problem for our levee protected areas. The levees are designed to maintain their hold with this kind of system. So here's a precision cast. I want to show you again how little rain we're expecting further inland. As we get into the afternoon, maybe a couple of quick passing showers down towards Laplace, Houma, and Grand Isle, but we'll continue with a mostly dry forecast for tonight. Now you'll notice off to the east, there's what appears to be the center of the system as we get into even the early morning hours, but it's not moving quickly. Think about how slowly you're driving at 5 miles an hour. That's the current speed, and it could slow down a little bit more. I do think it will start to pick up its motion, though, because that upper ridge is going to finally drag it along to the west so that we can get it on out of here. So as we get towards 7 a.m., you can expect those winds to pick up, but still not dealing with a lot of rain in most locations. And we'll continue with that as our trend into the rest of tomorrow afternoon as well. Again, the rainfall forecast really not very impressive on the North Shore at all. South of the lake, maybe 1 to 2 inches in most spots. The majority of the heavy rain will be below where the center comes inland because all of the rain is on the eastern and southern side of the system. Right now, we continue with blue skies and sunshine. It's going to be another scorching day across southeast Louisiana. Yesterday, it felt like you stepped outside and there was a blow dryer of hot air with that subtle breeze that we had. So look, the good news is maybe this will take our temperatures down a little bit as Tropical Storm Bertha moves further inland. Again, today we could feel like 112 this afternoon, and we've actually seen that extreme heat warning concern expanded a little further east. So please keep this in mind. Temperatures at the moment actually in the mid-90s across a number of spots, but feeling more like triple digits, and that'll be the case as we look to the rest of the afternoon as well. Your 7-day forecast, including the weather impact alerts for tomorrow all day long, and then early Thursday morning as finally Bertha starts to move off to our west and get on out of here so that we can enjoy our weekend. Not looking like the rain chances will be beyond 20%. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, maybe 30% chances for a little more relief from the heat. And then Monday about 20% as well. So at that point, we're going to go back to our normal forecasts for summer across southeast Louisiana with heat, humidity, and quiet conditions as the themes.